Live from the 22 News Broadcast Center. This is a special Your Local Election Headquarters edition of 22 News Online, the Massachusetts State Primary.
Good evening and welcome to this digital election special of 22 News. Now today is primary day in Massachusetts and the polls have just closed across the Commonwealth. We're going to bring you updates on the races throughout the next hour here. Also joining me tonight are political consultants Tony Cignoli and Paul Robbins. Now they're going to be here throughout the evening to kind of analyze the primary races and their impacts. So I want to thank both of you for coming on the program.
Thank you, John.
We've had you on before, but if someone doesn't know, let's start with you, Tony. Just kind of give a background on how you got into all of this.
I was lucky. I was very young, got involved with the Pine Point Community Council, learned that you could bring people out to affect issues. Did an early campaign for state representative that went very well. And then I had the good fortune to work with Paul on a bunch of campaigns and learned an awful lot from Paul Robbins back in the day. And we had a good run of some really unique campaigns in this neck of the woods. So I had that benefit. So thank you, Paul.
Sure.
And then what about you? Yeah,
I started as a political consultant, and I always tell people I accidentally won my first campaign when I was 23 years old, and then figured out, well, maybe there's a future here.
Okay.
So it eventually grew into an advertising and public relations agency, and most recently I started Paul Robbins Associates, which is a strategic communications company that deals with all forms of communications.
All right, so communication is key in politics. I want to begin tonight with a look at the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. Incumbent Ed Markey is being challenged by Congressman Joe Kennedy. Now, Markey was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2013, and prior to that, he had been serving as a congressman since 1976. Now, Kennedy was first elected to the House in 2012. Both have argued that they are the more progressive choice for voters. Kennedy was touring the polling locations this morning here locally, seeking support from in-person voters here in the western part of the state. Kennedy is the grandson of the late Robert F. Kennedy and is hoping to be the third Kennedy to represent Massachusetts in the Senate. But Markey has enjoyed some late momentum here, spurred by his authorship of the Green New Deal and backing of young progressives. But Kennedy says it's time for change.
I'm running and challenging the notion that we can do better against a man who I respect but has been in office for nearly 50 years. And as we were at the last location, somebody said, it's been 50 years and this is what we have. It's time to try something new. Because for 50 years, there's still people that are fighting and scraping and clawing to try to make ends meet.
All right, so Kennedy there talking about for 50 years been doing basically the same thing, according to him. What do you think about that statement as far as it's time for change? And we'll start with you, Tony.
Change is always the most powerful word in politics, but it's what kind of change and at what time that can move a campaign. So certainly for Kennedy, change had to be the operative word here, without a doubt, trying to make the case that Ed Markey had been around too long. But if you look at this race from where the poll started, Ed Markey started in a deficit of about 21 to 24 points. Polling now says that he had tied this up and started to pull ahead. That's pretty amazing. So relative to change, I think what Markey was able to do is say, this is not a time for change, and you want to stay the course with me. He also did a good job reintroducing himself and kind of reinventing himself a bit too, as you had said earlier, embracing issues like the Green New Deal.
And what do you think?
I think this is going to be a tough year for incumbents across the board, both now and in the November election. The question is, the people who are most progressive, who may tend to come out more on a day like today, it's probably going to be a low turnout, the younger, more progressive folks actually backing Markey. So if I'm Kennedy, I want to have as high a turnout as possible. And what you're seeing, I think, is a division within the Democratic Party, where, you know, this idea of change, but generational change, which is different than change on any other issues like economics or whatever. Mm-hmm. So will the young people who support Markey come out in greater numbers? They didn't for Bernie Sanders. So that's, to me, the question tonight.
What is it, 39 years old and I think 74, so there is an age difference there. Is that playing a big role in this, age?
You know, there's this spot out with AOC where she says it's not the age, it's the age of the ideas. So I think there is something there about someone being there so long. If you have a large turnout today, which I don't think you're necessarily going to have, I think Kennedy wins. A smaller turnout with more impassioned younger voters who are supporting Markey, maybe Markey wins. So it really comes down to turnout in a race like this.
I want to talk about turnout in just a moment, but first I want to talk about Senator Ed Markey in Western Massachusetts today. Markey's campaign bus took him to Springfield's Union Station to meet with local supporters, including State Representative Carlos Gonzalez. Markey told 22 News that he was taking nothing for granted during the campaign's final hour.
Great Depression, but their families are profoundly negative. We need racial justice so that we root out the systemic racism built into every fabric of our society, and we need environmental justice. And that's why I introduced the Green New Deal with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
And then it was back on that bus and back to a trip to Boston, where the senator will await the outcome of the race this evening. So despite being the challenger, Kennedy entered the race as the perceived favorite, but Markey now holds an 11-point lead in the polls. Is there a chance that Kennedy can actually overcome that margin?
You never know. Given that there are so many variables in this race, one fact, that Kennedy's own House seat is up for grabs right now. And in that House seat, in that district, people are pouring out. It's a very contentious race, multiple players there who've spent a lot of money. You know, it would be thought that most of those folks are going to vote for Joe Kennedy for the United States Senate. So that's one driver. And we just don't know who's voted just yet. We don't know whose names they've checked off inside of all those mail-in ballots. There's a million variables to this one, Don.
What about name recognition? The Kennedy name, it's a strong name in Massachusetts.
It is. It is. There's a lot of people who will tell you, I'm a Kennedy guy, right?
Yeah.
People in their 80s, who, you know, he wasn't born when they had started this relationship with the Kennedy family. So I think that's a big advantage, but name recognition actually helps you more when a lot of people show up to vote for other things, and they may not necessarily be voting on that particular race, but they say, hey, wait a minute, I know the Kennedy name, I'll slip them a vote. People generally right now in this primary are coming out for one or the other, and then it becomes field organization who has the better operation to get folks out.
And since Massachusetts has an all-Democratic congressional delegation, do you think that it's likely that the winner of tonight's primary will go on to win the general election in November?
Most definitely, without a doubt. There's no question, I think, on that. There just aren't enough Republicans in Massachusetts, and there isn't a feeling amongst independents or unenrolleds to significantly move to any of the Republican candidates that will be on the ballot come November. So it's a Democratic year, without a doubt.
And
Yeah,
what do you
and
think?
Trump
Yeah.
and Biden are going to be on the ballot, and that's going to hurt whoever's running in the Senate for whoever wins. So tonight's in effect the winner.
Okay.
Of that.
I want to talk about voter turnout, like we said, but I want to first tell you this, because running to challenge the winner of the Markey-Kennedy race are Republicans, Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai and attorney Kevin O'Connor. Now, Ayyadurai ran as an independent candidate in 2018 in that Senate race, finishing third in that race. O'Connor, a public school teacher and a journalist. So I guess, what are your predictions there on that side? We just kind of talked about it. I mean, name recognition alone, a lot of people don't know who they are, right?
Yeah. Well, to that point, for Shiva, he just goes by Dr. Shiva. If you see his ads and all the
You're
rest,
right.
to make it easy, you know?
Yeah.
He's been around. He's a bit of a controversial figure, so it's a wonder to me as to who comes out. In the base of the Republican Party, the more conservative stalwarts that might still be there in Massachusetts, amongst those 29% who identify as Republicans, they know him. They kind of dig him, the controversial, very conservative stands that he's got. But O'Connor's had endorsements from just about everybody and the Republican side of the aisle. So this one's a bit of a jump ball, I think.
And it's interesting, too, because Dr. Shiva also has this Hollywood background.
Yes.
When you Google him, Entertainment Tonight articles pop up right away. Does that help him at all?
It might a little bit with name recognition, but quite honestly, it's going to be even a smaller subset of people that come out for the Republican primary. So that could go either way.
Okay.
And the weird thing in the Republican Party in Massachusetts, as small as it is, it's divided. It has the Trumpers who are running the GOP state party, and then you got the Charlie Bakers, who are considered rhinos. So, you know, it really comes down to who's going to show up. And to me, that's a flip of the coin.
Okay. Our election special will continue with up-to-the-minute election results, a breakdown of all the results. We're back with more discussion on tonight's primary races. You're watching 22 News. Good evening once again. This is a digital election special here at 22 News, and we're continuing our discussion of tonight's primary races throughout this next hour here. And joining me tonight are political consultants Tony Cignoli and Paul Robbins. So I want to talk first about the Congressional District Democratic primary. It's another race here that's been very closely watched, getting national attention, in fact. Incumbent Richard Neal is being challenged for his party's nomination by Holyoke Mayor Alex Morse. Neal is seeking his 17th term in office, and he is also completing his first term as the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee. Morse was first elected mayor of Holyoke in 2011 at the age of 22, making him the youngest mayor in the city's history. There are no Republican candidates in the general election. However, Frederick Mack has filed for a run as an independent. Now, Morse voted just as the polls opened. That was right around 7 o'clock this morning, just after 7, casting his ballot at St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Holyoke. He told 22 News that he's feeling confident.
And I'm just so incredibly proud and excited of the campaign that we've run, the movement that we've built, and so I'm confident that we will make history today in the city of Holyoke, here in Western Massachusetts, and for our movement nationally.
And he had a full campaign schedule today with events around the district, and he is expected to speak tonight in Holyoke after the results come in. Neal cast his vote today at the Boys and Girls Club on Carew Street in Springfield, and he told 22 News that he believes that he has the support that he needs.
And I think that we identified our voters early on, and we decided that we would concentrate on getting them out, and that's what we've done.
Full day of campaigning as well for him. He traveled to Pittsfield today and will deliver his evening remarks from Union Station in Springfield. So what do you think about this race? It was so closely followed, obviously here on a local level. I'll start with you, Paul. Why is it getting so much attention nationally too?
Well, you have two Democratic parties now. You have the more moderate wing and you have the progressives. And the progressives have been fueled by Bernie Sanders from 4 years ago. And up to today with Elizabeth Warren. So you have four races, primaries, Democratic primaries in congressional seats in Massachusetts. If you ever needed more information about the fact that there's two parties, there's never a primary challenge in Massachusetts. You have three incumbents essentially being challenged in Massachusetts, strong Democratic congressmen in Massachusetts. So it's really this fracture that's happened within the party. You could say the same on the Republican side with the Trumpers and the more standard, regular, more traditional Republicans. So we're seeing this split. And I think, you know, when Alex decided to do this, I think we're at a really raw point, you know, in the beginning of the presidential campaign. And you're seeing these fissures start to emerge. But it's going to be a while that this gets shaken out in the Democratic Party. So this is really a reflection of what's happening around the country, where you're seeing incumbents fight off, sometimes lose. So I think there's hopes with the progressives that that would happen here.
And you saw that in 2018 that seemed to happen, but can that still happen now in 2020 with this?
It can. Anything could shake and happen here. This is the big prize for progressives. They've knocked off other House chairs, other major names. You can go all the way back to Capuano versus Presley, where it kind of began, where an incumbent who was initially thought to be, you know, untouchable in his own district was taken out. But this is the chairman of Ways and Means, and that's why you've got national attention being paid here.
That's a powerful position.
Extremely powerful. This is the fellow that has the purse strings, that understands and deals with all tax items, etc. This is Nancy Pelosi's, you know, main guy. So I think there's a lot of people looking at this, and that's why you're getting the national attention of this that it is. But there's another piece of this too. This race, something that Paul said struck me. He said when Alex started, and when did it really start, this race? For Richie Neal, this race began in the first quarter of 2019 when Tom Steyer decided, I'm going to go after Richie Neal and spend $250,000 in this area on television, radio, advertising, etc., to push Neal on Trump's taxes. And that's right about the time it all began. So this really has been a long race if you put that into it. Neal had just gotten reelected, had become chairman of Ways and Means, and right away he's dealing with that issue back at home.
Yeah, but something really interesting happened along the way to the progressives taking over the party. Joe Biden did not spend a day in Massachusetts, did not spend a nickel, and it was a fight theoretically between the hometown senator, Warren, and Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders, and Biden won going away.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's this counter movement also of normalcy that's starting to take hold in a lot of places. Because Biden ran away with it at that point. I think he was surprised. I mean, everyone was surprised that he won Massachusetts without stepping foot here.
Yeah, you mentioned normalcy, and I wonder if that has a lot to do with the Trump presidency coupled with the pandemic,
Right.
because everything is just so wild right now.
People are afraid, and normalcy is out the window. So it's interesting that that's helped Biden become the nominee. So does that normalcy take hold in some of these primaries that we're seeing? I think we're going to see tonight. I personally think that Neil will win, and I think there'll be some normalcy established that way. So the world has changed. When these campaigns started, this was pre-pandemic. And that's scary enough, but there's a lot of other things going on now racially in the country also. So I think normalcy is on the ballot also.
Do you think, too, though, that, say, like you said, Neil wins, but do you think that progressive agenda by Morse will feed into Neil's moving forward once he wins, if he wins?
If it'll impact him, perhaps?
Yeah,
in what
like
he
is it
does?
pushing the party in a more progressive way?
Frankly, if he's thinking about re-election in 2 years, sure. This
Okay.
district has changed, exactly what Paul has said. You take a look at some of the numbers of younger folks that have gotten involved. They're weighing out where they're going to be based on, the Ed Markey support that we're seeing, I think, right now in Western Massachusetts is interesting. But this is not going to go away, Don. This is the beginning of this. And it's going to get greater and it's going to get stronger. You look at this first congressional district in 2016 for president, and it's amazing. Bernie Sanders beat Hillary Clinton despite all the establishment players in the first congressional district being with Hillary Clinton. There's change. It's in the wings, and it's going to continue. This is new, certainly, but it's something that's been building for a while, and it's definitely not going to go away. If you want to contend and play in the first congressional and in a lot of the legislative seats here, you're going to have to encompass and understand what it is the progressives want.
Well, I would offer just a little variation on that. Take a look at Biden's campaign. He's included some of the new progressive ideas, but most of his campaign is we want to get back to normalcy in the country. So if the country, we're jumping into November, votes Biden in, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to fight back that normalcy issue with some really big, bold, people had big, bold, I think you could make a case over the last 4 years, and where's it gotten us? It's gotten us a divided country, whatever your political persuasion. So I think things have changed because of the pandemic and the impact it's had on the economy. Before it, we were talking about, a Green New Deal and Medicare for all, and a lot of people, a majority of people wanted that. I'm not so sure people would feel that way right now. So I think it's still to be determined.
And there's been a big battle here, Neil and Morse facing off in a debate right here in our 22 News studios. Both Morse and Neil have had exchanged heated rebuttals throughout the campaign, and the debate was really no different. During the debate, both candidates addressed recent controversial accusations surrounding Mayor Morse. Morse asking his community to come to their own conclusions about the allegations. Neil making it clear that there is no room for homophobia in America and in the race to Washington. Some other talking points included inequality in health care, to the CARES Act, and how each candidate would assist the people right here in the 1st Congressional District.
Unemployment insurance, I've delivered. Health care support through our hospitals, I've delivered. Those paychecks, those stimulus checks, I've delivered. The mayor said he would have voted against all of that. I've delivered time and again. And in the city of Holyoke, one of the biggest problems we've had is the mayor doesn't show up. He missed 28 of 62 meetings of the Holyoke School Committee. Why the Holyoke schools fell into receivership.
I have modeled this campaign as to how I want to represent you in Washington, showing up in every corner of this district, not just here in Hampden County, but in northern Berkshire County, in Worcester County, in Franklin County, in southern Berkshire County, and actually doing town halls. Congressman Neal talks a lot about writing legislation. I mean, how can you write legislation that's responsive to the people here if in over 3 years you haven't even had a single town hall? This isn't about showing up in the district for a photo op, talking to corporate CEOs and executives. It's about demonstrating results.
Comes to this legislation.
All right, so what do you think? I'll start with you. Tony?
That was one heck of a debate. I think if there were folks that might have been undecided who watched it, they may have made up their mind for one or the other based on that rock'em sock'em that occurred here. But the amount of content, there was a lot packed into that amount of time. So it was a real public service that TV 22 did do that debate. I think it was key, without a doubt. You've got, in that debate, clearly, both candidates made extreme distinction between what they believed or not, and especially on the CARES Act. And I think there Neil really scored. You know, we always look at what does it mean for the average regular person out there to vote for one person or the other. How's that candidate going to impact my life? Certainly in the CARES Act, Neil's had impact in Western Massachusetts in the 1st Congressional. Bear in mind, too, this is a district where people know we never really came back or bounced back the way Boston did after the 2008 recession. You look at the dollars, and a lot of times people are going to vote their pocketbook or their wallet, what they feel might be best for their family, for their children, etc.
What about you? You said you think Neil's going to take
Yeah,
this.
but one of the things that's interesting about the campaign is, you know, when you're in this business, you want candidates to be who they are. And both of them have been who they are.
Yeah.
Richie is a
Great point.
meat and potatoes, get the job done, appealing to people and saying, listen, who do you want to protect your Social Security? Alex or myself? I think that's where he wins on that account. Conversely, I think Alex was true to himself too. I mean, he doesn't stumble. He's in tune with the advocacy of that progressive wing of the party. He believes it. It's in his skin. So both were who they are. They're not trying to be something they aren't. The question is the district ready for that kind of change? And I guess I'm making the point that the meat and potatoes, I think, is a little more important right now.
Now let's talk a little bit about this district and kind of break it down a little bit. And I was reading that article that the Huffington Post, I think it was, they interviewed you.
Yeah.
So kind of give me the demographics of the district, the 1st Congressional District. Like, you know, the layout of it, for example, where it is, and then where it leans.
Geographically, it's gigantic. It's
Yeah.
the 1st Congressional and a large part of the former 2nd Congressional, which was once John Olver and before him Silvio Conti in the north. 64% of the population of the 1st Congressional District lives in Hampden County. And commensurately, that's how you see the vote come out time and time again. If you look back over the time, every challenge Neil has had in the first CD, disproportionately, Greater Springfield, Hampden County will outvote and outweigh the entire rest of the congressional district. Geographically, you go all the way up to the Vermont border, New York, Connecticut, and you go all the way into Worcester County, which is interesting because Worcester County is kind of conservative. The only county, for example, that voted for Scott Brown over Elizabeth Warren. So it's really diverse, and there's a lot of unique parochial politics, which is, I think, one of the things we touched on in that particular article. The parochialism, what plays in Pittsfield, doesn't always play in Holyoke or in Springfield. Even Springfield, the differences sometimes between Springfield and Westfield, it's like two different states almost. It's stunning. So it's a difficult one to campaign, and to be all things to all people is difficult, which is why I agree strongly with Paul. Both of these candidates were true to themselves. That's who they were. That's what we saw, especially in that 22 debate.
Yeah, the interesting about the district you're asking, you know, a lot of people feel there's two states. There's Western and Eastern Mass. Well, within Western Mass, there's two states here too. If you go to the Berkshires, and actually two counties within, there's North County, South County.
Yeah.
So I did a race in what was at the time the 1st Congressional District, which is now, you know, the broader 1st and 2nd. And it's very rural, it's very suburban, and it's urban, all wrapped into and spread over a very wide geography.
We would suspect that Morse would do well in Holyoke.
I wouldn't count on it.
Really?
I would not count on it. Because Holyoke is a meat and potatoes, traditional Democratic city.
Okay.
And there also could be some backlash about him running and essentially running away from his current job. So I wouldn't be surprised if Neil does very well in Holyoke.
And if I remember correctly, in that article of HuffPost, they said that if Morse were to win 40% of Springfield, was that what it was? That would be very helpful to him.
That would be disconcerting if he could actually get that much of Springfield.
Yeah.
But still, you've got to be able to play in Chicopee and throughout the rest. It's really jump ball. It's so weird. When you figure out the percentages of who has to win what, certainly for Richie Neal, he's got to come out of Springfield very, very strong. He's always had very strong support in communities of color. Folks really have to show up today for him in that regard. And I think we were seeing that for folks who had not already voted by mail, that we were seeing that kind of a driven aspect of the folks coming to the polls today.
The other thing we haven't talked
Yeah.
about is slicing out the most liberal part of Western Massachusetts.
Bingo.
When they did redistricting, which was Amherst and Northampton. That was sliced out,
Yeah.
is now in a different district.
Okay.
So where does Alex get the votes, I guess, would be my question.
And then you think about what the future looks like, to what Paul just said. We're going to see redistricting. It's going to be
One of our
really-
producers actually brought that up.
Yeah.
Like in 2 years, right?
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see that. So what
This
does that mean?
census now begets
Yeah.
the next district, and it's going to be very difficult to keep Northampton and Amherst out of the 1st Congressional District, given the fact we've lost so much population. That makes this district a lot more liberal. Talk about activists.
So
Wow.
you're saying that Amherst and Northampton would become part of this?
Most probably. I don't see how you get away with gerrymandering that
Yeah.
and really doing something
I wouldn't
weird
bet
with
against
I was
gerrymandering.
going to say that.
this. Yeah, you're right.
Just saying.
I'm being optimistic, and I'm being, yeah. Wow.
All right, let's talk about this, because one of the main reasons this race has been getting a lot of national attention is the allegations brought against Mayor Morse. But the University of Massachusetts Democrats apologized to Morse weeks after the accusations of Morse's inappropriate behavior. The College Democrats Executive Board sent out 2 letters, one to Morse and one to their membership. The letter said that they had never intended for their private letter to the mayor to play into homophobic stereotypes. The Executive Board denied linking that initial letter to the college paper there, which had made the allegations public. They also denied any intent to help Neil or hurt Morse. In a statement sent to 22 News, Morse said, "I appreciate the letter from the UMass Democrats and the apology." So do you think that these allegations are going to play a role in this? I don't know if they have. I feel like it's done and over in some respect, but do you think it's on the minds of some voters as they go in to vote?
I don't think it was a litmus test issue. This is a district that supports LGBTQ rights, and I think that this actually helped Alex Morse. I think it fired up his campaign, his base. If you look at the money that started to come in, the individual donors, and look at the big dollars that started to come in too. Folks started writing $2,000 checks, largely from the north, once this happened. I think he handled this very, very well. He actually utilized this well. I think it was something that he kind of scored on. It reminded people of some of the reasons that he was running. This was an issue that could have been cataclysmic for him, but not in this district, and also because he handled it so well. And I think even to that point too, Congressman Neal was pretty clear, gosh, there's no room for this kind of stuff in this campaign. But this issue, sensational as it was, I don't think was as big of a deal to people as, gosh, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to get reemployed, or I'm unemployed at this time? How am I dealing with C-19, et cetera? Those bigger meat and potato issues were there as well.
I was going to say, maybe the pandemic playing, I can always go back to the pandemic. I feel like even in my day-to-day life, it's like, it's because of the pandemic.
Well,
but I
here's how
suspect that
here's how
probably
I think
played a role.
I think it hurt him.
You do?
I do, because in a campaign, the great Bob Squire once said, no longer with us, what great national, international political consultant. In campaigns, you want to get on offense and stay there. In a campaign, that's on defense, and I don't care what the issue is. Hillary Clinton was on defense by the end of her campaign. And I think people miss some of the details. The fact that Alex, and I think he did a good job explaining it and leveraging it. If you're spending a day or 2 days or a week, on defense, trying to explain yourself on something like that.
This was more than a week, too.
It was more than a week. The average voter says, I don't know what's going on there. I like the guy, or whatever. It hurts you. You want to be. If you look at the advertising near the end, that tells you who's ahead and who's not. He was attacking Neil almost exclusively for the last 2 or 3 weeks, which meant he had a hill to climb. If you have a hill to climb, and you're carrying a load on your back, which is defending something, that's hard. It's just a fact of political campaign life. You want to be on offense.
We're going to continue our discussion of tonight's primary vote. We'll be back with more discussion of tonight's races. You're watching 22 News. We're back here now, and good evening once again. This is our digital election special here on 22 News at wwlp.com. So we are talking tonight with political consultants Tony Cignoli and Paul Robbins. And I want to take a look now at some of the other primary races this evening. In the Democratic primary for the Governor's Council, 7th District, Worcester Planning Board member attorney Paul DiPaolo is running against Patrick Rafferty, who is a special prosecutor in the Worcester County District Attorney's Office. Now, the Governor's Council votes on judicial nominations and pardons in the 7th District is largely central Massachusetts, but it does include parts of Western Mass, towns of Palmer, Ware, Munson, Brimfield, Holland, and Wales. There is no Republican candidate in this race right here. Have you been following these ones?
We kind of follow everything. Certainly, DiPaolo has a little bit more name recognition, seems to have a little bit more of a ground game. But this is one that wasn't all that hot or interesting to the folks in that district. What's strange, too, as you've noted, I think, just with the towns you just mentioned, the congressional districts don't match up to the governor's council districts. The council district is actually even larger. So it's weird how that cuts around. So people in a lot of those areas, they're more concerned right now with Neal and Morse and Markey and Kennedy. So this kind of falls behind a bit.
And let's talk a little bit about what the Governor's Council does again. It
Sure.
votes on judicial nominations and pardons, for example.
It's super important because these are the folks who say yay or nay to the nominee that the governor of the state brings forward for any judicial nomination. For clerk magistrate, they weigh in when there are problems with judges. And I think arguably the governor's counselor from this district is Mary Hurley, former mayor of the city of Springfield, first woman and only woman ever elected to mayor, and Paul Robbins did that campaign. An amazing, interesting person, because if you look at her background and what she's done, she's kind of electrified the governor's council.
Yeah.
She's pointed out a lot of mistakes, things that should be done right. She's actually gone after some judges and said, time to go. I don't think anyone ever did that before. So it's a very important position for that one reason. And I think Mary's made the case for that it's that important.
Yeah, I mean, she's a force, and she's a force for good. She's
Yeah.
extremely bright, competent. She knows her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's not, and she's fearless.
Yes.
So if she needs to put her foot down, she will. And I
Yeah.
think people appreciate it. I know the governor appreciates that.
Yeah. Former judge herself.
Right.
Yeah.
And now to the race for Hampden County Register of Probate. Rosemary Sacamani is running for the Democratic nomination against Bob Callamore. The Register of Probate is in charge of record-keeping, day-to-day operations for probate and family court. Independent Suzanne Sagan, the incumbent, is not running for re-election this year. Now, Rosemary Sacamani is a longtime employee of the office, and then Callamore has run for various offices in the past, including city council and state representative. So with this, for example, probably I would suspect just being in that office is going to get,
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Because the predecessor that you just mentioned
Yeah.
was in the office, never run for anything,
Right.
zero name recognition, and beat a well-known, I know
Yeah.
very well because she
Yeah.
was my client, State Senator Gail Kondaris, so, at the time. So if you're in that office, you make contacts, you're dealing with the public, the lawyers certainly know who you are. I've seen a lot of her stuff
Yeah.
on Facebook, and so, and Bob Callamore's run for a lot of things over a 20-year
Yeah.
period, to be
Yeah.
generous in
Yeah.
saying that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that she's got a huge advantage being in
And
the office.
you mentioned social media. I thought I'd bring that up because, I mean, these are the kind of the races not everyone's following so closely. Social media, is that important for these types of
huge.
races?
Huge.
Gigantically so for all campaigns right now. You know, we found that in a lot of the buying that went on in the congressional, for example, when all is said and done, what was spent, take a look at how much was spent on social media, not just the obvious of Facebook, but that every time you pick up your phone, you're seeing an ad. Take a look even here, you know, how much went to wwlp.com. It's what's on air, certainly, but then it's more so we can get directly to people. And to this race on Sacamani, the Registry of Probate, to Paul's credit on this one, too. Most people did not know what the Registry of Probate was. This office impacts a lot of people's lives. At your worst time, you're getting a divorce, you got a child custody issue, you're in the Registry of Probate. People would see Rosemary Sacamani. But Paul did an amazing campaign that kind of got the word out as to what Registry of Probate was. And that was Tommy Moriarty,
Right.
one of the most beloved elected officials I've ever known. But I remember what you did in that campaign. It was not a popularity contest alone for Moriarty. It was a tough campaign, if I recall. And Paul had to explain to people, or Tom Moriarty had to, this is what this means to people. At your toughest, I think I remember one of your ads was to that, at the toughest times in your life, you want to make sure that you've got somebody in the Registry of Probate that makes a difference.
Yeah, I think
you know?
people kind of get that, and that's why they don't want to just, it's not just a name recognition, this person is going to get this nice job. Hey, I have a cousin that went through that with a divorce or custody of a child or something like that. You really want, I mean, it gets through to people that's important.
Yeah.
The winner is going to face independent Lori Landers Carvalho in the general election. All right, so West Springfield State Senator Jim Welch is being challenged for his party's nomination by Springfield Ward 1 City Councilor Adam Gomez. Welch is running for his 6th term. Prior to serving in the Senate, Welch was the state representative for the West Springfield-based 6th HAMPDEN House District. And there's no Republican here, candidate running in the general election. Will it be difficult for Gomez to defeat Welch after he's already won the position 5 times before?
Well, certainly Jim Welch has got the name recognition. He's got a track record in the Senate, and not just as a state senator. This fellow has had some significant chairmanships, including health care. So he's in the media an awful lot on key issues and all. You've got West Springfield as the major predominant part of this district, and that's where he hails from. Adam Gomez, a very active fellow who got some intriguingly big endorsements in this particular race. Cateri Walsh, Cheryl Coakley Rivera coming out for him, worked it hard, but it really is difficult. When you look at how this district is made up, part of Springfield, all of West Side, and a couple of precincts or wards in Chicopee, it's tough to pull something like this off.
Yeah, when you're going to beat a multi-term incumbent, you've got to have a perfect storm.
Yeah.
You got to have some elephant in the room that's hurting the incumbent, something bad. You got to have conditions in the district being bad, partly because of that person, or they're not doing the job. And you got to knock on every door. Well, you can't knock on every door during the pandemic. That's another thing that candidates are starting to realize. You could do 1,000 doors in a campaign. You can't do that. Adam Gomez is a great guy, but that's a big hill to climb.
With the door-to-door, I mean, we were showing footage today, you know, of Morse, for example, Neal, Markey, Kennedy. They are out in the community meeting with supporters. You know, are people answering the doors because of the pandemic, I wonder?
In the beginning, we thought not. And then we started to see what was happening in the first CD. And it was Alex Morse who started door knocking. Young folks, politely, carefully knocking on doors. Hi, how are you? Standing away from the doors. And what we noted is people were taking the time because you hadn't seen anybody in months.
I was going to say, you know,
No, it's
again,
actually-
back to the pandemic, people are ready to see someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are going door to door, and they are getting some responses. The problem is because of the masks and everything, you can't have the kind of, and you can't go in. You're not going to go in. Sometimes people will invite you in and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you," and a candidate would.
You can't do that.
Very
You can't sit
different.
around. You can't sit
You
around
can't.
the kitchen table.
You can't have a coffee hour
Yeah.
with 15 people in your kitchen with a candidate.
Yeah.
It's changed everything.
It's hard for candidates like Joe Biden, who like to be as up close and personal as they can. For Eric Lesser, who's a hugger, even more so than a handshaker. You know, how do you deal with this? How do you campaign and whatnot? So it changes things.
Interesting. All right, we're going to continue our coverage here. Primary night here in Massachusetts. You're watching 22 News.
Live from the 22 News Broadcast Center, this is a special Your Local Election Headquarters edition of 22 News Online, the Massachusetts State Primary.
We are back here tonight. Good evening once again. This is our digital election special here on 22 News. We're continuing our discussion about tonight's primary races. Political consultants Tony Cignoli and Paul Robbins both joining me here. We've been going through a number of races, a lot of the high-profile races. Now we're getting to the other ones here. In the Republican primary for the 3rd HAMPDEN District House seat, incumbent State Representative Nick Baldiga is being challenged by Agawam City Councilor Dino Marcadante. Now, you can see right there that some of the numbers are coming in, I believe, and you can see who is ahead. You can see Baldiga is ahead with 68% of the vote, and not all the precincts are, only 17% of the precincts there. So just to keep that in mind, but Baldiga is ahead right now. So let's talk a little bit about this. Are you kind of surprised with where we are now? I mean, it's only 17% of the precincts, but.
On this particular race, not really. And I think that, you know, when you look at this race, Baldiga's got name recognition, certainly. He's won some tough campaigns, and he's an ardent Republican. He's a conservative's conservative, and those are the folks you're going to see coming out in Southwick and Agawam, despite the fact that Mercadante has run a very spirited campaign, I think more than some people might have thought, and he's got the support of the very popular mayor of Agawam, Mayor Sapelli. So will that weigh in before the night's over? And also, too, we don't know what precincts these are, what wards these are, what towns. 17%, it's kind of early to say.
Okay, and you guys, can you break it down? I mean, I'm not asking you to do this right now, but
sure.
When it comes to precincts, you know which way they're going to lean most likely?
So a lot of times you do. You know what wards or precincts are going to be hot for your candidate, where they've got a base, where they've done things, where they've got a strong support team out there, where they've worked it hard. You're looking at the wards and the precincts, usually in a campaign, that vote the highest. That's where you're going to concentrate your time. You know, all your interest is going there to make sure you're going to get as many of those voters as possible for your candidate.
In the Republican primary for the 4th Hampden District House, we have Democrat John Vilas, winning earlier this year in a special Senate election, has left his seat open. So 2 Republicans are running for their party's nomination in the district. We have Kelly Pease, a former legislative aide to State Senator Don Humison, is running against Westfield City Councilor at Large Dan Alley, I believe that's how you say it. Alley has unsuccessfully run for the seat in the past, and the winner will face Democrat Matthew Garlow and Independent Ethan Flaherty in November. So we can see the numbers here that are in right now. Again, 17% of the precincts are reporting right now, and you can see that Alley, 57% of the vote right there. Is this considered close or no?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I would say is Ally's been on a citywide, as a city councilor, has already run. But you have the challenger, the opponent, being someone that worked in the legislative office, which is always powerful. So if you're a proven vote getter, I guess my point is that helps you. It has name recognition. People have voted for you before. So it looks like that might be a tight race.
And Republicans held this for a long, long time before Vilas, right?
They did, absolutely so, yeah. Very
so
much.
they're
In fact,
trying to reclaim this.
Yeah, even going back to another Vilas, Peter Vilas, who left the legislature to become a judge. It's a Republican seat for the most part. The thought largely in Westfield is that a strong Republican showing by whoever the victor is here has a good opportunity to take this over. This may be the one anomaly, I think, in a very big Democratic year, but you have to see. Who knows for sure.
The next House primary race, the 5th Hampden District, the seat opened up after Aaron Vega decided not to run for re-election. 3 Democrats are running in the primary here. We have Patricia Duffy, Patrick Beaudry, and David Bartley. Duffy was an aide to Vega, and Beaudry is a public affairs manager of the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. Bartley is a Holyoke Ward 3 city councilor, and there are no Republican candidates on the ballot here. What are your thoughts on this race as we look at the numbers coming in?
Yeah, no surprise that Duffy, I mean, again, when you're doing the legislative work for somebody, you are the rep in a lot of cases, as you know, right?
You're the face folks know.
You go out, you're talking to people, and so you're getting the job done. People come to you, start to develop relationships, and there is a feeling that the torch will be handed off to somebody who gets what's going on, what the issues are in the district. So no surprise there. But the other thing is, you have 2 other good candidates, but you're going to split the vote.
Yeah.
And maybe the other 2 candidates are splitting the kind of incumbent vote.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. Maybe an historical point on that one that's kind of unique too is that David Bartley is the son of David Bartley, the former state representative, who was Speaker of the House at one point. So Holyoke had great power at one time. At that same time, they also had the Senate President, Mossy Donahue. Stunning to have both. How things change.
Yeah.
Incumbent state representative Jose Tosado has decided not to run for re-election this year, leaving the 9th Hampden District House seat open. So there are 3 candidates vying for the nomination here. Springfield School Committee member Denise Hurst, Springfield Ward 8 City Councilor Orlando Ramos, and Ward 2 Democratic Committee Chair Sean Mullen. The winner will face independent Robert Underwood in the general election. Who do you think has I would say name recognition.
Name recognition. So you have a city councilor, someone who has been very involved in the community, and a school committee person, and then a newcomer. The thing that is, to me, most interesting is that Denise Hurst's husband, Justin, endorsed Alex Morse. And so my question is, are the folks who would normally support Denise Hurst, but like Richie Neal, going to say, wait a second, I'm not so hot on that idea? And after all, Springfield's the Springfield district. Is that going to affect her? I would keep that on the radar, and because I would think maybe she'd be the one because she's been a big vote getter in the school committee. To me, that raised the question mark of whether there's going to be some backwash against that.
And what about Ramos?
Interesting. Worked really hard. Impressed a lot of folks. Able to say, listen, I know your pain. I know what you're feeling. I'm a single dad, and I'm without a job because of C-19. Campaigned on that. Very popular in Indian Orchard, Pine Point, and East Springfield. This is a wonderfully diverse district with those three neighborhoods, and then you add in Liberty Heights, Hungry Hill at the other end of it. He's been out there, especially as a ward counselor, representing three of the neighborhoods that I just said, and he got some amazing endorsements that I don't think maybe normally he would have gotten. And he did. Paul gave a good assessment of this. Early on, a lot of folks thought easily Denise Hurst, especially too because she's so popular, so well liked, and her husband's the city council president. But I am surprised that we don't have any numbers yet there from Springfield. That's interesting that that has not happened. I thought by now we would start to have a better idea what that race looked like.
We're going to continue our coverage here, our discussion of the primary vote. We'll be back with more discussion of tonight's races. You're watching 22 News. We're back here once again, our digital election special here on 22 News, continuing our discussion with our political consultants, Tony Cignoli and Paul Robbins. Now, voting looked a lot different this year, all due to the pandemic. 22 News shot some of this video of voters coming into the West Springfield High School as early as 7 o'clock this morning to cast their vote. The school is the location of 6 precincts today. Many voters told 22 News that they were actually looking forward to coming to the polls in person. Despite more mask wearing and social distancing, voters in West Springfield said that the process seemed pretty normal.
Really nicely laid out, plenty of space. They've got different precincts in different corners, plenty of social distancing, and it was really easy to do.
And Secretary of State William Galvin gave an update on Monday on the state primary. With several highly contested races happening in the Commonwealth, voter turnout was expected to be at a record high.
My projection based upon the numbers I'm looking at is that we will have between 1.2 and 1.3 million ballots cast by the time everything is added up tomorrow.
And last week, the state offered 5 days of early voting, giving residents the option to skip the lines on Election Day. I want to go to you, Paul, because if I heard you correctly earlier, you said that you didn't think it would be a very high turnout today. Did you mean in person or voting in general in this primary?
I meant in person.
Okay.
And we won't really know on the mail-in ballots and absentee ballots. And that's where the really make your money as a consultant, is if you have a well-oiled machine that can get people to mail them in. Remember, there's, people say it was a well-oiled machine. I voted today and it was good. The problem is because we haven't reauthorized the Voters' Rights Act, you have 50 different ways to do it. And so Massachusetts happens to be on the high end of how to do it. It's really who shows up. And to me, we're still in summer. We haven't even gotten to Labor Day, and we're having this primary. And to me, that's the biggest stumbling block. But what's happened is social media has changed things because you're getting dinged all the time, you're getting phone calls. I'm getting a text message, I'm sure you are too, from the campaigns every day. That's something new to remind, did you vote? You're going to vote tomorrow? Did you vote today? I got that yesterday, last week, and today. Did you vote? So I think the in-person's still a challenge we're still in summer, but the amount of millions and millions of dollars have been spent made up tickets, so maybe he's right. But I think in the overall, maybe it's still the vast majority of people who could vote will have not voted today.
Do you think we'll have high voter turnout in November?
I would hope so, without a doubt. You hope that folks aren't going to stay home, and I think that will be the case. This is the lone time you've got in 4 years to weigh in on, do you want to keep Donald Trump, get rid of Donald Trump, or you for Joe Biden? Real change, always in the minds of the people. The biggest change you can make is President of the United States. So I think that will be the case, certainly in America, hopefully in Massachusetts too, because you won't have a lot of other hot races out there.
Now, with early voting, and I thought about this earlier because we were interviewing, I believe it was Neil and Morse, for example. They're just talking about early voting. They're at, this last day they're out there campaigning, but there's so many people who have already voted. They've made their decision.
Such a moving target.
So how has that changed? Like for you two, working on campaigns, what does it mean for what you guys do?
It makes it it makes it harder.
Much.
Because the window is so much bigger.
Yeah.
I was in a campaign once, and I won't say who, but at the very end of the campaign, we got attacked. by a smear that was a complete fabrication. And I was at a luncheon with somebody and said, I was working for this candidate, and he said, I absentee balloted, but if I had seen that TV spot, I wouldn't have voted for him.
Yeah.
So I said, whoa. So the thing is, every day is a new news cycle. And so you want to park as many of your people as quickly as you can, but that's a lot of work. And that can look a lot different. So someone's saying on the national level, last time the Democrats did a better job of early votes, and more of Trump's vote came out the day of to narrowly win. So you got to do both, but it's made it much harder.
And then also with COVID-19, though, I mean, it just seems like the logical thing to do, I suppose. It's for some people.
In a lot of campaigns, we were looking at absentee voting, absentee ballot voting back in the day. We would tell an entire campaign staff, we want you to vote in advance, get the ballot legally, get it done, because we don't want you on election day maybe not voting because you're running around for the candidate doing something. But certainly I think there's a couple of other things here too, without a doubt, that are unique. To what Paul just said, we don't know who voted when in this congressional. What if somebody got that ballot 4 weeks ago and missed this controversy or that issue, or learned something new from an ad that they hadn't? A lot of people will have voter regret in some instances because of that. That's something that's always there. The other piece, in this particular race this time around, any consultant that was advising that this campaign was September 1st, foul, because this thing was August 1st. You had to be ready to be having your narrative and your message done weeks before that, because people are going to start to get their ballots in the beginning of August. So many variables to this. And why do you keep campaigning right into that today? Because it's always a game of inches. You never know. Are there 50 people here or 14 there that I can still get to the poll that'll make a difference?
Yeah, and how many races have we seen nationally, incredibly, that come down to a handful of votes? Gore and Bush.
Yeah.
That was literally hundreds of votes difference in Florida.
I think I have like 30 seconds left. I would love to get into what everyone's talking about, a possible repeat this year, with the fact of like us not getting the actual results probably till maybe December like it was back then. I want to thank both of you for coming on the program.
Sure,
I really
thanks.
appreciate it. Very
Great
insightful.
questions.
Thank
as
you.
always.
Tony Cignoli and Paul Robbins, our political consultants here. And I want to thank you for joining us as well here on wwlp.com. Our continuing coverage of primary night here in Massachusetts continues this evening at 10 o'clock and at 11 o'clock on 22 News.
More people in Western Massachusetts get their news from 22 News than any other source.